Good morning, all you fabulous people of the internet. I hope you're all doing fantastic. Today we are back on our turbo Barra powered AU Falcon, and the mission for this episode is to finish it. So it's actually been only about 3 days since we worked on this car last and we put the Barra in the AU. Since we road tested the car hasn't moved or been started since. I've been working out on site doing some mobile stuff, and the car's literally just been chilling here. So while it's on the hoist area, I want to start with rechecking all of the fluid levels. We'll get it up to temp, recheck the transmission oil level. I want to check for vacuum leaks, and I want to check for fluid leaks. We'll get it up on the hoist and check for that. And once we do that, we're actually going to start on some wiring. So let's start with doing some checks. Everything's looking good under here. I'm not seeing any leaks. I've just put a cable tie on the power steering line just to hold it out of the way. Taking the fill plug out of the auto when nothing's coming out. So I'll let it warm up a bit more. We'll fill that up a bit more. I might cable tie these transcooler lines up a bit better. And yeah, happy days. Fluids are all checked. We're all good. Checked for vacuum leaks and even whipped up a quick intake pipe. It's very tight to sit the filter where I wanted it to sit, but I didn't want to relocate the battery. So for now, that's going to be happy for me. So now we'll get it off the hoist and spin it around, and I'll show you what we're doing next. Okie dokie. So the next thing we're going to do is do some wiring. So obviously, pretty much nothing on the dash works. Our fuel gauge works, airbag light goes out, so does our seatbelt light. But our fuel warning light stays on, as does our coolant temp. And we've got no tacho or speedo. So how we're basically going to overcome that, if you walk this way, is we have what's called a CanBarra module. This guy is contactable through Facebook. He's got a Facebook page just called CanBarra. He's been really helpful with explaining how this thing goes in. We've got all of our inputs into the module here, all of our outputs here, and we've got a detailed wiring diagram and stuff here. So plan is to wire this in under the dash. I'm going to intercept the engine loom where it comes through the firewall under the dash. A couple of these go to power and ground and other inputs for your CAN bus. So yeah, we'll just start wiring this in and I'll show you how we go. Alrighty, I'm powering ahead with this whole CanBarra module thing. I've got the module mounted sort of under the center console under there. All of the inputs go through to the driver's side, and I've put all that back together. So there's a couple of wires that go to the OBD plug for the CAN high and CAN low. We've also got an ignition input, a ground, and there's a couple of outputs that actually go up to the cluster, which I've already wired in as well. Sorry that I didn't film that. Then on this side, we've got some more outputs that go to the ECU wiring. So you do need to remove the factory ECU and leave it out. And then we're wiring in off the back of the ECU plug. So I'm just going through and cross-referencing what wires that we need to connect. Like, for example, this connector here, which is our blue wire for a tacho output that comes out of the CanBarra module. That wires into pin 45, which is a pink wire with a dark blue trace, which you sort of look at the numbers on the back of this plug, and you can see that there's numbers on there. So you just sort of count back, and then we ended up finding pin 45, which is in there, pink wire with a blue trace, and then I've extended that wire to connect onto it. So we're pretty much done with connecting everything now. I'm just going to test it, see if it works, and then we'll clean all this up with loom tape and put it back together. Alrighty, so going to give this thing a bit of a try. I've still got everything all pulled apart. All right, coolant overheating light's gone out, that red light. Oh, we've got a tacho. That's good. We'll let it run for a bit, get some temp into it. We'll see if the temperature gauge works. Right, it's been running for about 5 minutes. We do have a working temp gauge. It is starting to come up, so happy with that. So I'm going to go through, put all the interior back together down there. We'll take it for a drive, and hopefully we've got a working speedo. So not only do we have a working speedo, I've also checked it with the GPS app on my phone, and it's also accurate. So happy days. All righty legends, the next thing we're going to do is try and make some kind of heat shield for the exhaust or something somehow. So obviously the factory heat shields are missing off the manifold, as they are missing off the turbo. And look, you know, we've got this hose here. I mean, it's got quite a bit of room to the turbo. We've also got that power wire down there. Things do get a little bit close and a little bit warm, especially this coolant bottle as well, being right above the turbo. So I want to try and make something. I don't know how I'm going to make it, but I've got this bit of aluminium sheet here, which has been sitting here forever. So I'm just going to try and make something with that and see how we go. Also, I wanted to mention to you earlier in this video air conditioning. So I do want to make the air conditioning work on this. We still have everything from the AU still in this car, including the condenser and all that stuff, and the factory AU high and low pressure aircon lines. But we have cut the ends off them. The other one is sort of chilling down there. And I do also have some BA lines that bolt to the compressor down there. I've got the lines that sort of come off, and I've cut them as well, including the, I believe it's an air conditioning pressure solenoid or sensor that plugs into. So I've got a mate of mine who's got an air conditioning shop in Melbourne. At some stage I'll go down and get him to marry up the BA compressor lines to the AU lines, and then we can just gas the aircon, and hopefully it works because I have connected the wire for the air conditioning compressor from the CanBarra module when we fitted it. So that should all be ready to go. But for now, we'll try and suss a heat shield. So after a bit of I can't be botheredness, this is what I've come up with. I think it's going to be all right. So it basically picks up the 4 manifold bolts across there. I've done a little standoff bracket from the turbo dump that comes up and bolts to the back there. And it's going to be better than what it had. But I'm actually thinking I'm going to paint it black because there's nothing else under here that's shiny. So I'm going to paint it black and then put the intake back on. I mean the cooler pipe. All right, it's all done, painted, put back together. That's how it basically looks. Sort of kind of wish I left it polished, but that's all right. It is what it is. I've put the cooler pipe back on, and I also refitted the boost controller that came on the donor car. I've just ran it all the way in for now. Don't worry, I still plan on running this thing on stock boost, but it's just there for fun. The next thing we're going to do involves getting this thing set up on the hoist and lifting it up, which is going to be probably the final job that I do on this thing. Place your bets if you can guess right now what that's going to be. But I've run out of time today, so that job's going to have to happen another day. So we'll see you back here right about now. Alrighty, we're back. It's been just over 2 weeks since we did the other work on this stuff that you saw at the start of this episode. I've been driving this thing pretty much every day. I'm actually really enjoying driving it, except for the fact that it doesn't make much boost because of how choked up the exhaust is. So if you guys guess that the next thing we're going to be doing on this thing is the exhaust, give yourself 10 points because yes, that is what we're doing. If you didn't see the build on this video, basically what we did is we used a dump pipe or a front pipe that came off the donor car. This is actually weird. It's about a 3.25, almost 3.3 inch pipe. It's not something I've really seen before, but anyway, it was free because it came with the car. So with the donor car, so that's what we used. I did make a little bracket here that picks up that exhaust hanger. And then because I didn't have enough stuff in stock, we've literally just necked it down and it goes into the stock AU cat back, which we did. This is a brand new cat back that we had to put on when we we're fixing the car up for roadworthy, and now it's going to go in the bin probably. So what we're basically doing is I have cheated a little bit. I was looking up on my exhaust suppliers website to buy bends and pipes and mufflers and stuff, and I found this. So this is actually to suit an AU Series 1 or 2 with live axle rear section. So it's 3 inch with a semi straight through muffler. So that should give us a little bit of quietening down. Hopefully, Barras are notorious for making sound half decent. As for the center, we're going to delete those 2 center mufflers and we're just going to put a hot dog in the center for now just to see how it sounds. We can always change that to a muffler later. I had this section of stainless in stock, which basically is going to be perfect for running between here. And then we can just make up a bit of a thing in the middle. I've got some pipe in stock over there. I've got grabbed a couple of 45s and a couple of 90s out of stock. We're not going to need all of that. And we're just going to get into it to see what we can make. Before you guys start freaking out and go, oh mate, 3 inch, that's not big enough for a Barra, turbo Barra. Yeah, I know. However, if this thing was running upwards of like more than quite a fair bit more than stock boost, we'd probably be going a 3.5 inch cat back. But we're only going to be running a maximum on this setup of about 6 or 7 pound. It's currently just on wastegate pressure, and which is only about 5 or 6, and it's only hitting about 3 or 4 just because of the restriction in the cat back. So it's going to be a lot better than what we've got. We can suss it out down the track or whatever. So we're basically going to start by removing the whole stock cat back, and then go from there. But before we do that, let's just drop it down and see how it sounds as it is. Rightio, stock stuff is off. Had to cut it a couple of times. So now we have a blank canvas to work with. So step 1 and 2 is going to be just bolt an empty flange onto the back of that so we can start making off that, and we'll hang that 3-inch section under the back of the car. So let's do that. Got our flange bolted on to the front pipe, got the rear section hung and supported at the back, got the other section of the flange bolted onto that. So now all we need to do is make this center bit using that stuff. So let's see what we come up with. So this is what I've come up with so far. We've got a big section of stainless in the middle, and then we've just got a 45-degree bend sort of pointing us off into the direction that we need to go. So the hot dog will go in that section. So I'm basically, now I'm going to pull this bit off and fully weld all of that, and then we'll rehang it and keep going. Alrighty, so we're all sort of mocked up. I got it final welded up to here, and then I've redone that section, got the hot dog in there, and then it's got the bend going up to that flange. So I'll pull it all off now, final weld everything. When I go to put it back on, I'll weld that hanger to the side of the pipe so we can still use that hanger. And yeah, happy days, I guess. Mad, we're all done. This is how it turned out. Yes, I also know it's not ideal going from stainless to mild, but again, I was using what I've got, and now that it's all painted black, you can't really tell anyway. So yeah, that's basically how it turned out. Use that hanger back there as well to give it a bit of extra support. And the only other thing I did is I got my big multi-grips and tried to crush this up a little bit to make it a bit more oval than round to represent the factory tip a little bit. So yeah, and before you freak out as well going, oh, it's really close to the tail shaft. It's not. Like, this is at full droop. So once wheels go on the ground, diff goes up, tail shaft goes up. It's never going to get closer than that unless you're flying, and even still, it'll be that close. So let's drop it down and see how it sounds. So we've just taken the thing for a quick drive now that the exhaust is done, and holy dooly, what a difference. So this is without touching the boost controller. Before, it would spike to 3 to 4 pound and then drop back to about 3 pound of boost. And even with that, I was happy with how the car went. Whereas now it'll spike to about 7 and then hold 6 pound consistently. And that's where I'm happy to keep the boost level. I know a lot of people out there run more boost on that on NA Barras, but I'm happy to just keep it as that. And we'll see what the future brings. So I don't know what the future of this car is going to hold. I am enjoying driving it. I'm probably just going to keep using it as my daily for now. I do want to get it engineered as well. I've still got a few things to do with that. But yeah, we'll probably cover that stuff in a later video. So if you want to see more content on this car, please remember to like and subscribe. And until I see you in the next video, be good to yourselves and each other.